This is my training footage from Thursday, and this is a speed workout where I'm going to be doing 2 miles at sort of the fastest pace that I can do for 2 miles. And it's a rainy day, so it's kind of nice because it's really cool, but it's very slippery on the sidewalk, and I was having some trouble with my equipment, as well as my watch was still not updated at this time, so it didn't start recording my heart rate until much later in the workout. And so you're going to see that as the data runs along the board, and it goes out from time to time. But we're going to walk through this workout. It's an important workout, and this is actually the workout that I did for my last block leading up to my half marathon. I would do this workout pretty much every single day. Not every single day, but every day that I trained during the week, which basically was Monday through Friday. Sometimes I would take one of those days off, but I did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, a speed day pretty much every day. It was as fast as my body could give. Some days I could give more, some days I could give less. But it was 2 miles, so it's manageable, and it's just the fastest you can go, or that you're capable of going on that day. Some of the things that keep me from going the fastest that I could go is, one, I don't eat until much later in the day. Sometimes, and lately, because I've been going through a little mini cut, I'm not eating until about 6 p.m. at night. And so when I go on this run, it is at about 12:45, 12:50 in the afternoon. And I've already been working from 7:30 on, and I haven't eaten anything. I only drink coffee. It does have cream in it, so the cream does help a little bit, but there's nothing really in my stomach. And by the time I get to this run and this training session, I'm pretty depleted. And especially as this cut has gone, this mini cut, it's not a full-on cut, but this mini cut has gone further into a calorie deficit, and I'm going back down in my weight, around 185 now, and that's down from 189 earlier this week. But anyway, going down to that, it's doesn't leave me with a lot of fuel for these runs. And these runs, since they're intense, they do require a little bit of more carbohydrate, or I should say glycogen, in your stores, so that you can really push or fuel the muscles to maximize power. And I don't have that, but I like that because I don't necessarily think that having training sessions as easy as you could have them is a good thing, because you want to push yourself to excel in the worst conditions in training, so that when you get to the best conditions in a race, you are ready to go, and you can hopefully perform better because the conditions are now better. So that's the plan whenever I do this. Plus, let's face it, it's convenience. I don't really have time when I get home with my kids to go on a run 2 miles. My wife has to go on a run. Sometimes I'll have strength training that I have to do, but the strength training I can do at home. And I want to be able to have at least some energy left in me to do the run. If I get home, I'm not going to be able to give it as hard as I could in the afternoon. And I can't give as much in the afternoon as I could if I were in the morning, simply because I fast for so long during the day. So this run was starting off really quickly, and you can see my pace is like under 6 minutes and 30 seconds. I have to start slowing down, because on these runs, it's not my lactate threshold. It's not lactate threshold at all. If I'd fuel more properly before these runs, I could get a much better time, but I end up gassing from just an energy perspective. Like, I can feel my legs start to not be able to produce the power that they were producing earlier on in the run. And I know if I was fully fed, that wouldn't be an issue, because what ended up happening when I ran my 5K for the race is I was properly carbo loaded the night before, and I was, had gained about 3 extra pounds in just like water and glycogen. And when I ran my 5K, it was in the morning, nothing was depleted, and I was just able to really get going super quick. And I ran that 5K a lot faster than I thought that I would. And I could have ran it even faster had I trained my lactate threshold better. But this doesn't really matter for me in the long run. And I think that just having this run consistently on my last training block was a good idea. So I decided to put it into this training block. And I'm just going to do one day of it right now. And I'm going to make it sort of like a mile repeat. My hope, and I didn't do this like I wanted to, because once I started running, I just kind of got caught up in all the rain. It was very stormy, and I forgot what I was going to do, which was really do a mile fast, then sort of back off to about a 10K pace, and then ramp back up to a fast mile. And I didn't do that. I ended up just doing 2 miles like I did during my last block of speed work, and it worked out. So I'm just going to be flexible with myself. If I feel it, I'm going to do the 3. If I don't feel it, I'm just going to do the 2, and I'll end up always just doing like a warm down or 1 or 2, sort of easy miles when I get home on the treadmill, just for some sort of VO2 max work, which is what I ended up doing this day anyway. I kind of didn't have time to cool down with a run during the lunch. I did a walk, and I came home, and after dinner I did a couple miles just to kind of recover from this harder run, because it is a bit more tough when you're going as fast as possible. Another reason, though, as you can see, like, it's almost a mirror on the ground. The water, there's a lot of water, so it was really slippery when I was running. And the shoes that I got are these Nikes that were on sale at the outlets. I just got them for like an everyday training shoe, and it turns out that they have this really big dimple on the heel, and when you hit a water spot just right, it makes like a suction cup, and it sucks the water up and sprays it everywhere. It's quite annoying. And my GoPro is actually broken, the screen, I cracked it, and so I was really hesitant of going out here in the rain, but it seemed to work just fine. So I kept going with it and got back, and it wasn't very wet at all, which kind of amazed me. But hopefully got the issue fixed with my Apple Watch, where the heart rate keeps going out, because that's kind of a bummer. Is when I do these playbacks, I want to be able to see my heart rate. That's kind of the benefit of when I'm rewatching all of this, and why I record it and put it together like this, so I can see it visually and see these spots where my pace is and where my heart rate is. But this route that I'm doing now is the one I most commonly do for my speed work 2 mile. And again, I like to pick areas, as you can see, that have a lot of straightaways. So this is just a big loop that will take me right back to where I started and back to my work. And it goes by the fast food restaurants over here on my right. And this is actually the area that I grew up when I was a kid. I haven't lived in this part of town for quite some time, but I work here still. And you can smell, not on a rainy day, but on a hot day when the air is not moving, all the sort of fast food fumes get trapped in there. And when you're running, it's like almost unbearable, because you can't really breathe. You're kind of just breathing in fast food fumes, which, don't get me wrong, I enjoy a good fast food session from time to time, but when you're running and it's smelling like you're stuck in a grease trap or a burger grill, it can be very unpleasant. But I run this route anyway, because it's one of the longest straightaway loops that I have that's close to me. I can start off on one end and end back at work, and know really quickly how much time I have left before my lunch is over. So on the last stretch of this, I've already gone past my first mile, and I believe I paced at 6 minutes and 30 seconds. My watch paused the workout at one point here, and I had to put it on play. I think it was the water accidentally hit a button, which I don't really like. It should have gone into water protection mode, or this, wet screen mode or whatever, but whatever. I thankfully saw it in time and pressed resume workout, and so you can see I don't think the data skipped too much. We're a little off right here, so yeah, this is where it says workout paused. So now I know this tracking is a little bit off sync because the workout did hit pause just a little bit further up the street. It was only about 15 seconds before I realized and pressed resume on the workout. So this is almost over here, and I'm starting to slow down literally because I am not, I can't feel barely any energy or fuel left in me to push through the rest of this run. So I managed to squeak out whatever was left in, and because it's 2 miles and because I have to go back to work and because I know I'm gonna have a walk to cool down, I don't mind pushing it as hard as I can on this last mile. And I don't know if this was a PR or anything. I'm not really trying to PR, but I'm pretty sure I got a decent pace between the two, even though I finished this second mile a little bit slower than I would have liked. However, I know if I would have eaten any type of food before this run, or even for breakfast hours before this run, had I been properly fueled with carbohydrate, I would have been able to run this last mile a lot faster. As you can see, the time is slowing down. It's getting kind of slower and slower. I'm trying to push as hard as I can, but I really don't have anything left in the gas tank. There's little spurts here, but it's a bit off sync, so I'm not sure where we are now on this. But that's 6 minutes and 56 seconds. Oh well, we're almost done with the route. About halfway through, and then it's nice because I stop right before my work and I do a little tiny loop around where I work, and it's about a 10-minute loop of just walking for a cool down. And this one, I guess I had a little bit of energy left in me at the end, and I just pushed it for as much as I could. But I think the overall did not end up being I don't think it was under 7 minutes for this second mile. I will pop the information up on the screen. I put it up earlier, but I forgot the number already. Again, I think this first mile was 6 minutes and 30 seconds. I do notice that it is a little bit more difficult to go fast when the conditions on the road or sidewalk are slippery, because the follow through, or like the kind of ability to grab the sidewalk with your bottom of your foot is impeded by like the almost zero friction, and so that is something that I did struggle with.